Bonjour et bienvenue à French Tweets. Today we are going to look at les pronoms relatifs qui and que. Before beginning with the concept of qui and que, we must first know the difference between the two. So let's first have a look at qui. Qui refers to that, who or which. Qui is the subject of the action. That means qui does the action. It is always placed before the verb in a sentence. Always placed before the verb. It replaces either a person or an object. Now let's have a look at few examples. Je mange du fromage qui est bon. I eat some cheese which is good. Now in this sentence, we'll see that qui is placed right before the verb être, and qui stands for which. So in here, qui is positioned before the verb être. Now let's check the other example. Voilà quelqu'un qui parle bien français. Here's someone who speaks good French. Now in here, qui refers to who and is placed right before the verb parler. Now we must always remember that qui is placed before the verb and qui never becomes que. That means it will never be contracted, unlike que that we'll be talking in a minute. It will always remain qui. Now let's have a look at que. Que refers to whom, which or that. Que is the object of the action, whereas qui is the subject of the action. And que is placed before the pronoun. Always placed before the pronoun, and it replaces either a person or an object in a sentence. So both qui and que are used to connect two sentences together and to avoid repetition. Now let's check few examples with que. Je bois du vin rosé que j'ai acheté hier. I'm drinking some rose wine which I bought yesterday. Now in here, que is placed right before the pronoun je, unlike qui, which is placed before the verb. Now let's have another example. C'est un livre que j'utilise dans mes classes. This is a book that I use in my classes. In here, again, que is placed before the pronoun je. Also, que contracts to que apostrophe if placed before the word beginning with a vowel. Now let's check a few more examples with qui and que. So we have a list of few sentences here and we'll have to choose between qui and que. The first sentence, le réveil qui ou que est sur la table ne marche pas. The alarm clock which is on the table does not function. So in here we'll be putting qui because we have a verb right after. Je regarde une série Netflix qui ou que est super intéressante. I'm watching a Netflix series which is super interesting. Again, we'll be putting qui as we have the verb être. Regarde ce foulard qui ou que j'ai acheté. Look at the scarf that I bought. So in here we have a pronoun which is je. So we'll be putting que. Je mange les mangues qui ou que Tu as acheté. I'm eating the mangoes that you've bought. We have the pronoun tu. So here we'll be using que. Moving on to the other sentence. La fille qui ou que parle est ma nièce. The girl who's speaking is my niece. Again, we have the verb parler. So we'll be putting qui. Il y a un petit café qui ou que se trouve près de la gare. There's a small cafe which is near to the station. Now we have the verb se trouver. So we have the reflexive pronoun se. Now you might have a question, where are we going to put qui or que? Whether it's going to be after se or the verb trouver. So with the reflexive verb, we put right before the reflexive pronoun. So in this case, we'll be putting it before se trouve. Il y a un petit café qui se trouve près de la gare. Tu portes le collier qui ou que il t'a offert. You're wearing the necklace that he offered you. So in here we have the pronoun il, which is beginning with a vowel. So we'll be contracting que to que apostrophe. Unlike qui. Moving on to the last one. J'ai un chien qui ou que aime se baigner. I have a dog that likes to take bath. So in here we'll be using qui because we are having a verb after that, which is aimer. J'ai un chien qui aime se baigner. Now let's check why do we need to use qui ou que. Pour connecter deux phrases, to connect two phrases. Pour substituer le sujet ou le complément du verbe de la deuxième phrase. For replacing the subject or the complement of the verb of the second phrase. Pour éviter de la répétition, to avoid repetition. Now let's check two phrases and try to combine them together. Now let's have a look at these two sentences and combine them together using qui or que. The first sentence, La Tour Eiffel, c'est un monument. The Eiffel Tower, it's a monument. La Tour Eiffel is située à Paris. The Eiffel Tower is situated at Paris. Now we are going to combine these two sentences using qui or que. La Tour Eiffel, c'est un monument qui est situé à Paris. So in here we are going to use qui. Now let's check another example. J'achète un livre. I buy a book. J'aime lire ce livre. I like to read this book. J'achète un livre que j'aime lire. So in here we are using que. So this is why we have to use qui or que in a sentence. I hope you've understood today's lesson on using qui or que. It's not that tricky. You just need to remember that if you have a verb, you're going to use qui. If you have a pronoun, you're going to use que. And qui never contracts to que, even before a vowel. So these are the simple rules of using qui and que. Now I would want you to make one sentence each using qui or que and post it in the comments. I'll be happy to correct them. Merci et bon français avec French tweets. À la prochaine.